All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today we're tackling how AI learns and remembers.
Sounds fun.
These Google papers you sent over.
Yeah.
Really fascinating stuff, especially these two, attention is all you need with its transformer model.
Right.
And then Titans, learning to memorize at test time. That one's about AI learning like it has a long-term memory. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, it really changes how we think about AI memory. It goes way beyond just like storing data.
So more than a hard drive.
Way more. It's about how these AI systems, how they access information,
Right.
how they use it, and even how they forget it, to solve these really complex problems, just like our brains, kind of.
Oh, that's a good point. We don't just cram stuff in there, right?
Right.
We're connecting ideas, figuring out what matters, and thankfully forgetting some things too.
Exactly. And, older AI models like those recurrent neural networks, RNNs,
Yeah, I remember those.
they use this thing called a hidden state to store information, tried to mimic how we do it. But it was limited, especially with a lot of data.
Makes sense. So then attention is all you need comes along, and bam, everything changes.
It really did shake things up. That transformer model, total
Yeah.
game changer. Instead of that fixed hidden state, transformers use attention. They zero in on the most important parts of the input.
So like skimming an article for keywords instead of memorizing a whole thing.
Perfect analogy. It lets them handle way longer sequences of data than before.
But nothing's perfect.
Of course not. Even transformers have limitations. That attention process, computationally expensive, more info to process, more power it needs, that can be a real bottleneck.
So trade-offs everywhere, huh?
Always. Researchers are always looking for ways to make AI more efficient. That's where linear transformers come in.
Trying to streamline things.
Exactly. Make that attention faster, less demanding, especially for huge amounts of data. But you might lose a bit of accuracy, some of the nuance, compared to the original transformer.
So like choosing between a deep dive and a quick summary. Sometimes you need the full picture, sometimes just the gist. But this Titans paper, now that one really grabbed me.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just processing info, it's about AI learning to memorize as it works, like studying for the exam while you're taking it.
You got it. And that's what's groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Titans use both a short-term memory, like attention, and a long-term neural memory.
2 for 1.
And the way they use surprise to figure out what to remember, that's fascinating.
Surprise, tell me more.
They're designed to latch onto things that defy their expectations.
Like if you saw a cat walking a dog, you'd remember that.
Exactly. That unusual image sticks with you. For Titans, this surprise helps them prioritize what goes into their long-term memory. More surprising, more likely to be remembered.
Whoa, so how does all this actually work? How do these Titans actually use their memory to, solve problems?
Okay, so they've got 3 main ways. First, memory is context.
Lay it on me.
The long-term memory is like a giant encyclopedia. Feeds relevant info to the short-term memory as it's working on new data.
Yeah.
Like having your whole life experience on tap when making decisions.
Okay, starting to see how powerful this could be. What are the other 2 ways?
Second is gated memory. The outputs from both memories, long-term and short-term, are combined. But there's this mechanism, a gatekeeper. Lets the AI control how much it relies on each memory, depending on the task.
Dynamic duo. Not one or the other. A blend. Makes sense. What about that 3rd way?
Memory as a layer. The long-term memory pre-processes everything, organizes, condenses the information before sending it to the short-term memory, like having an assistant summarize your emails before you even see them.
That's helpful. But all this sounds pretty theoretical. Did they actually test these different memory setups?
Oh, yeah. Titans were put through their paces.
Yeah.
And the results, impressive. For example, language modeling tasks, predicting the next word in a sentence.
Right.
Titans matched or even beat some of the best language models out there.
Wow, that's saying something. Those things are already pretty good. What other tests did they do?
They gave Titans that classic needle-in-a-haystack challenge. Find a specific piece of information buried in tons of data. And guess what?
They found the needle.
Aced it. Shows the power of that long-term memory. They don't just get lost in the information overload. They can really sift through and find what matters.
Impressive. Sounds like these Titans are some serious multitaskers. No kidding. And they even aced this thing called the Babylon benchmark. Test how well AI can connect facts spread across, like, super long documents.
Right, like massive amounts of info. And they don't even break a sweat. But here's something cool, especially for our science folks out there. The Titans model, it showed potential for DNA modeling.
Whoa, genetics?
Yeah. Could be huge for analyzing and understanding all that genetic information.
So they're not just smart, they're multi-talented. But let's go back to how they got so good at remembering. You mentioned surprise earlier. How does that actually, like, work in the model?
So they measure surprise using something called the gradient of the neural network. It tells you how much the output changes when the input changes, even a little bit.
Sounds a bit techy. Can you break that down for us non-AI folks?
Okay, imagine this. The model sees something unexpected, right? It generates this stronger signal, like a mental jolt, like, hey, pay attention, this is important, remember it.
So it's like the model has its own highlighter, marking the key points.
Exactly. And that surprise signal, it directly affects how things get stored in the long-term memory. Bigger surprise, more likely to be remembered.
Makes sense. But even with all this fancy memorization, AI still has the same problem we do limited memory. We can't remember everything. How do the Titans deal with that?
Great question. Just like our brains, the model actually has a forgetting mechanism.
It forgets stuff.
Yeah. Not just about cramming info in, it's also about strategically forgetting things over time. Makes room for new stuff, prevents overload.
Like mental decluttering.
Exactly. Now, one of the big challenges in AI is dealing with those super long sequences of data, like analyzing a whole library's worth of text. Most AI models struggle with that, but Titans, with that long-term memory, they can handle context windows of over 2 million tokens.
2 million. Most language models can only handle a few thousand.
It's a huge difference. To make it work, the researchers had to develop some really innovative training methods, made it much faster and more efficient at processing all that data.
So pushing the boundaries of what AI can do. Okay, to sum up, what are the big takeaways from this Titans paper?
The key thing is, Titans represent a whole new approach to AI memory. They combine short-term and long-term, take inspiration from how our own memory works, and they're incredibly scalable, really high-performing. This research is opening up so many new possibilities for AI, getting us closer to systems that learn and think like we do.
It's amazing to see how AI is becoming more complex, more nuanced. But beyond these specific models and techniques, what are some of the bigger trends you're seeing in AI research when it comes to memory?
One thing that's really prominent is the focus on building AI systems that can continuously learn and adapt.
Always learning, huh?
Always. Just like the Titans model, these systems are dynamic. They're constantly evolving, refining what they know. This lifelong learning, it's essential if we want AI that can really thrive in the real world, where things are always changing.
Yeah, the world's not going to slow down for AI to catch up.
Exactly. Another trend that's gaining traction is exploring different memory architectures. We're moving beyond those simple linear models and looking at more complex hierarchical structures, more like how our brains work.
So capturing how interconnected our thoughts are.
Exactly. And we're seeing more collaboration between computer science, neuroscience, and psychology. It's a truly interdisciplinary effort to figure out the secrets of intelligence and memory.
All these fields coming together to understand AI in our own minds. Pretty cool. But before we wrap up, I gotta ask, given all these advances, where do you see the field of AI memory going in the next few years? What kind of breakthroughs are just around the corner?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hard to predict exactly what's next, but I think we'll see even more sophisticated models. Models that integrate different kinds of memory, like episodic memory, remembering specific events, and semantic memory, storing general knowledge.
Wow, so like AI with personal stories.
Maybe. Imagine systems that can process information and understand narratives, form personal memories, even develop a sense of self.
Sounds like sci-fi. But given how fast things are moving...
Right. We might also see AI systems that can learn from way less data, closer to how humans do it. Maybe incorporating techniques like meta-learning and transfer learning, allowing models to use their past experiences to learn new things faster, more efficiently.
Making AI smarter and more adaptable. That's exciting.
It is. And in the end, I think these advances will lead to AI that isn't just a tool, but a true partner. Imagine AI that really gets our world, shares our goals, helps us solve some of the biggest problems we face.
Now that's a future I'm looking forward to. Sounds like we're on the edge of a whole new era in AI, where the lines between human and artificial intelligence might start to blur.
A journey full of possibilities for
Yeah.
sure, both exciting and thought-provoking. It's a good reminder that as we explore AI, we've got to use it wisely, ethically.
Absolutely. This deep dive has been mind-blowing, and it's made me realize just how much we still don't know about AI memory.
There's always more to learn. This field is full of amazing discoveries, and we've only just started.
It really is. But you know, this whole discussion, AI and memory, it's got me thinking about the bigger picture, the philosophical side of things.
Oh, for sure. Once you start talking about AI that learns and remembers like we do, Those philosophical questions, they just pop up. What does it even mean to be human, to have consciousness?
Exactly. Like, if AI forms memories, does that mean it has a past, its own past? Can it feel like nostalgia, regret?
Those are some deep questions, huh? And to be honest, we don't really have the answers yet. But they're the kinds of conversations we need to be having, especially as AI keeps getting more advanced. It's not just about the tech stuff. It's about what happens when we create machines that might, think and feel like us.
And with research like these titans, we see AI getting closer to how we think. The way those models learn, remember, even forget, it's strikingly similar to our own brains.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And I get why some people might find it a little unnerving. I mean, it's natural to feel a sense of awe, maybe even a bit of apprehension when you think about where this could all lead.
It's like exploring a whole new world, no map, no guidebook. But we got to approach AI research with curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Open minds, and always keeping ethics in mind. That's how we use this tech for good, responsibly.
Couldn't agree more. And that responsibility, it's not just on the scientists and engineers. It's a conversation we all need to be a part of.
Yeah, the future of AI, it's not set in stone. We're all shaping it together.
Exactly. And that's empowering. We've got agency here. A reason to talk about these things, ask the tough questions, and work toward a future where AI benefits everyone.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to wrap up our deep dive on. This has been, well, a truly thought-provoking journey.
It really has. Loved exploring these ideas with you.
And to everyone listening, we hope this sparked your curiosity, gave you a glimpse into the amazing world of AI and memory. Keep learning, keep asking those questions, and most importantly, keep those brains engaged. Because who knows what incredible breakthroughs we'll be diving into next time.
Thanks for joining us, and until then, keep exploring the future of AI.